All right, some things are very messy right now, so the board is messy. But let me take you through this. First with the hacking, and then the Electoral College. And then I want to make you a point about how I am an example of a problem and a potential solution. The hacking, all right? Let's just keep the facts straight. Right now, you're hearing, why is this coming out now? And why is this being done to invalidate Trump's win? I don't think either of those things are valid or even happening. First, was there a hack? Yes or no? That's the primary question. The answer is yes. Who says? Clapper does. The guy who was put in after all that mess we dealt with in Iraq. Remember that? That's being leaned on right now. The CIA got it wrong about weapons of mass destruction, about the yellow cake. Why would I believe them? Well, that was much more complex than it's being made out to be. But even if you take it on its face, we can't believe them because of that. Things changed after that. In 2004, there was a law put in that put in the Clapper position, the Director of National Intelligence. He put out in October 7th, okay, October 7th, not now, back before the election, a month before the election, a statement that said, yes, there was a hack. Yes, it was Russia. Why? Because of the way they look at the signatures and the methods that were done by the different hacking things. It's very complex, and this is what they do. But he was sure that, yeah, this looks like Russia. So yes, it was them. Was it for Trump? Okay, that's where you're getting your division right now. That's the part that they want to investigate. That's the part that has the Senate, GOP and Democrats worried that we're at crisis level. We're going to take this on more. Why? Why do they think they're at crisis level now? What does this mean? We'll be taking that question on deeper. But remember, hack, yes. Who says it? Clapper says it. Not now, October 7th. And nobody is saying, at least in our reporting, there's no credible source saying, oh, they did it and that means that Trump's not really president. The president-elect has that stuck in his head, and I think that's taking him far too far in denouncing the obvious nature of the intelligence findings here, and it's subverting confidence in the intel community. I can't believe he wants that, because even if he changes the people at the tops of some of these organizations, some he can't, but even those he can, the bureaucracies, the main body of workers, they're still going to be in there. Okay, so that takes us to the legitimacy of the election. I don't think there's any credible source saying we should question it because of this hack. But this Electoral College stuff keeps bubbling up, what's going to happen on the 19th. You got the possible and you got the probable, okay? The possible takes you down this legal road of, can electors do whatever they want and ignore what happened in their state's popular vote? Depends on the state. Different states have different rules. Now, the practical considerations. Let's say I'm in a state that says I vote the way my state voted, and I say, no, I'm going to vote the way I want. That's what the Electoral College was about. Now, you go Google the history of the Electoral College. I don't understand why the Democrats are holding up the Electoral College as some thing of beauty that came about from the Articles of Confederation that somehow means it's pure. This thing was put into existence arguably for some bad reasons, okay? But if I decide to go on my own, that's going to be challenged. Then that law is going to have to be challenged, and it may go all the way to the Supreme Court. And I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong or good or bad, but it's going to take a very long time. So practical considerations are going to come in to play there as well. Could it happen? It depends on the states that we're talking about and what their laws say. And then it depends on whether or not an elector wants to defy that state law and decide differently than that law provides, and whether or not that law can be tested and be found constitutional. It gets complicated. We'll see what happens. We're going to look at it a little bit more deeply tomorrow, not to stir the pot, but to just deal with what the possible is and how much faith you should put in it. All right, lastly, me. This fake news thing, I don't like saying fake news. Why? Because I think that it's giving a label of arguable legitimacy to something that deserves no legitimacy. If something's not true, calling it something that sounds like it's kind of something, like fake news, where's the news part of it? It doesn't matter. I say don't use it, but the president-elect keeps using it. I'm a good example of this. Two different allegations have been made against me, or actually a lot of them, but two that are worth examination. One, there was a clip put out by somebody, and it was used by the Trump campaign, where I was sitting next to Brooke Baldwin on my show talking about how, boy, Clinton better run, boy, because, we've done everything we can. And it's been used as a suggestion that I was in the tank for Hillary Clinton, and I admitted it on my show. Ridiculous, right? I would have lost my job immediately had I done that, and it's certainly not the case. This was a long time ago, when Hillary hadn't decided yet. And she was on this book tour that we were all covering interminably because we were waiting for her to announce that she was running. And she was draining a lot of Democratic pockets, and she was getting all of these different people, all the delegates and superdelegates on board with her. That was the context. See, context matters. I wasn't saying I was in the tank for Hillary Clinton. I was saying the media has been covering this like crazy. She better announce that she's running already. Otherwise, there's going to be some real problems here because she'd been absorbing all the Democratic energy. That's not the way they used it. That's fake. That's bogus. That's fugazi. That's BS, what they were doing to me in that campaign. And they knew it, and they said they were going to stop, and then they didn't. And they just left it to surrogates and good people like you to keep spreading this clip falsely. That's fine. WikiLeaks is doing the same thing to me. Now, a lot of people don't like to talk about WikiLeaks because they're afraid they'll get hacked. And I've been the victim of a couple of cyber attacks in just the last month or so I get why people are afraid. But the truth is the truth. I don't have a problem with WikiLeaks personally. I know it makes people uncomfortable that people steal information, the fruits of a felony, and then WikiLeaks distributes it at best. And I get why that makes people upset. But reporters have put out stuff that was obtained illegally or even arguably wrongly often in the name of getting out the ultimate truth. And you'll make your own decisions about how that worked. And the Trump people were saying this is the truth coming out from Podesta's emails, but they didn't want to put out their emails, right? We only know it's true because we got to comb through them and pick stuff out of it. They didn't want that opportunity given to you with their emails, and for good reason. So for me, WikiLeaks has this clip saying, I said you can only, if you read WikiLeaks, it's illegal. I did say that in the clip, and it was wrong for me to say it, but again, context. I had been talking a lot about the assumption that there were confidential documents that had been part of the WikiLeaks grab. And the law is much more unclear there. If you download confidential documents, classified documents, and you have them cached, C-A-C-H-E-D, is that something that could be actionable by the authorities? We've never had a case like that. We've never had a case where it's happened, but a lot of this is new and evolving. That's where my head was. That's where my head was. That's not an excuse, it's an explanation. I was wrong to say you can't read WikiLeaks. Obviously you can. I can. I was talking about how the media has been given an exception when it comes to confidential information in the past, classified information in the past, that maybe ordinary citizens would not get. That is not tested. I shouldn't have said it, but I was caught up. It's live TV, and I was just having the conversation with somebody when I said it. It was wrong. Of course you can read WikiLeaks. We keep reporting on WikiLeaks. Nobody did it more than New Day. So what's my point? You can make fun of me all you want. I'm okay with that. You have to take criticism in this business, and you have to dismiss insults because they're of no value. Of course you can read WikiLeaks. I report the fruit of their efforts to you on a regular basis. It was wrong that I said you can only get the information from us, but that wasn't fake news. Fake news means I intentionally lied to you or distorted the truth to forward my own agenda. That's only not true because I'm a journalist, but it's not true demonstrably here because I kept reporting to you what was going on in WikiLeaks, and the open caches were there, and we kept forwarding the ugliest of assertions that were made from those emails. So clearly I wasn't sugarcoating it because we were going with whatever else was out there. But again, the context matters. Context always matters, and that's what we're trying to give you, even with what we're doing right now with the president-elect. I'm reporting and analyzing in a way that suggests why is he fighting the intelligence community about this when they're clear about this, and they were clear October 7th. It seems to be because he is stuck in his head that they're trying to delegitimize his election. I don't know who's doing that, but certainly it's going on in the president-elect's head. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. See you tomorrow.